Black Sheep Shipping presents A Route of All Kinds. Content warnings can be found in the description.
I don't owe you money, do I?
I've already been paid. The state assigned me to you to be your defense attorney. I was under the impression this had been explained to you.
No. I understand who you are.
You're facing attempted bank robbery for up to 7 years. Use of a firearm in commission of a felony, up to 15 years. And arson, up to 25 years, along with some smaller charges that really aren't our priority. Those are all only if you're charged in the state. Federal charges could almost double the time sentenced. Being charged in the state of New York, which is what I'm trying to argue for, is by far your best case scenario. Since you arrived, you've been very cooperative in custody, and because no one was killed or injured, there is a good chance I can get a plea bargain worked out with the DA. You could be looking at 15 years with appeal and probation, or the rest of your life. All of which depends almost entirely on how honest you are with me about what happened in Cadros. Is this clear?
Miss, the next 15 years is the rest of my life. I'll tell you everything, but you have to do something for me.
I don't think you understand that.
I want you to make sure I get a life sentence.
That's quite literally the opposite of why I'm here.
No, you're here to be my lawyer and represent me, right? That's all I'm asking you to do.
The ethics around that are... I'll do my best to do what's in your best legal interests.
Okay, I'll take it. I trust you. You seem trustworthy. I think by the end of this, you'll be able to send me to my retirement with your conscience clear. This is still only my second time being arrested, if you can believe it.
You seem proud of that.
I am. I've been doing this for over 30 years.
They weren't able to find any existing criminal record, probably because all of your IDs are fake. Can you tell me when your first arrest was?
1984. I was picked up for trespassing, breaking things, small town fun. A couple friends and I were taught a lesson by our local police chief. He processed us like adults, tossed us in with the drunks and usual suspects. Now these were real bad characters. Not quite the worst of them was Mickey. It probably wasn't his real name, so it's not worth checking. He was a soprano, and he only had his 2 buck teeth in front, so it could have been an expired nickname. He was in for trying to rob a gas station, a real old-fashioned one with those freestanding bright red pumps. Apparently, the second he showed his gun to the clerk, 2 police walked in. He panicked and put 2 shots in the ceiling. If he hadn't dropped it before they had time to get through the shock, he probably would have been the worst thing that attendant ever had to clean out of the hot dog machine. Armed robbery. Not his first time. He was going away for 20 years minimum.
I'm sorry, but we do have limited time.
I hope you'll indulge me. This is the first time I've said any of this out loud. Maybe the last time, too. No stone unturned, right?
Right. Go ahead. But please, keep us moving.
Well, Mickey wanted legacy. It only took 2 of the 3 days we were locked up for him to teach us everything he could think of. He probably had difficulty counting the money he stole, but he knew where and how to get it. Not exactly the lessons that police chief wanted us to learn. Both my pals went away a few years later. Mandatory minimums. The pot they were caught with came with more prison time than the assault that paid for it. Probably for the best. The 3 of us were convinced that we were gonna be a gang of outlaws, like John Dillinger. I don't want you to get the wrong idea about me. I don't hurt people. That gun they found in my glove box was for safety. It was unrelated to my profession. It's lazy. If you're careful enough, no one ever gets hurt.
An ethical bank robber.
My parents were flower children. If they had last names, they didn't tell me what they were. They considered anything related to the government evil. I don't even think they named me. They just always called me Kid. I really only have a vague idea of when I was born. Maybe the early 70s. That said, I am definitely without my birth certificate. I was born in a bathtub or river somewhere. If it helps, I don't consider those IDs you have fake. I just think of it as having a lot of names to go by, like changing clothes. William, Jesse, Clyde. At the time, they all felt very real.
Outlaws? Well, no birth certificate means my job is harder, but you're still protected by the 14th Amendment. I'll need to file a petition to have you declared a U.S. citizen. But I need to give them a name. What did you go by when you were growing up? What did your friends call you?
Nothing that should be said in a courtroom. If it's made up anyway, could I pick?
Go right ahead. Your choice.
Banks.
Really?
Like in Mary Poppins.
You've seen Mary Poppins.
I live on the road, not under a rock.
What about a first name?
Let me think on it. This is my first birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Banks.
Thank you. What would you like to hear about next?
What you do, please.
I take things that don't belong to me. I take them out of cars, cash registers, and wallets. But primarily, I consider myself a bank robber. It's the perfect kind of work for me. Maybe I inherited my parents' free spirit, but I love moving around. I love walking into a place and knowing that I'll only be there once. A couple of years ago, I accidentally went back to a diner in Maine that had changed its sign. The food didn't taste right.
Yeah, you shouldn't mention that part. As far as the prosecution is concerned, you've only done this in New York, and only once.
All right, well, in New York exclusively, small towns are a bit of a problem. In a city, I'm a stranger. In a town, I'm a drifter. No one talks to you. You'd think that would be an advantage, but what it really means is not blending in. It's the whole town and the man sitting in the booth alone. Then everyone talks. It takes more than a car or a pair of shoes to get into a town. You have to talk your way in. My favorite way to do it is with waitresses, especially when they're my age or a little bit older, a little bit tired. Did you go to Oakville High School? Sarah, right? I remember you. I was in your history class. What was that hard-ass's name? Oh, that's right, Mr. Robinson. No, I was in the back. I was shy. Oh, I left after graduation. I'm only back visiting an uncle for a week or two. No, he lives a town over in Chesterfield, but you know me. I couldn't stay away from home. How's your mom? She won't remember that she was wearing a name tag. She won't know I passed the high school on my way into town. I saw her. That is everything to someone settling into the rest of their life. I'll visit her on her shift every chance I can. People see me, but I'm just an old friend of this lovely woman. Let's call her Darla. Darla will tell me everything about everyone. Who became the rich lawyer, who married into money, who's always traveling. 3 weeks later, I'll drive back in, make the rounds, and leave. If I'm remembered at all, I'm still not the first one that comes to mind when something unpleasant happens.
Do you use the same strategy when preparing for a bank robbery?
Yes. I wait about twice as long, though. There's another step that comes first. You have to go in to make an account. I'm about to come into some money. I need somewhere to put it. Maybe I make a cashier's check, or just need a roll of quarters. Anything that gives me an excuse to see if they have a vault, a safe, loose bags of gold coins, something I like. Then I leave. Oh, I forgot my ID. Stupid mistake.
And the robberies?
They happen less often than you'd think, but still more than you'd like. In 30 years, I've only ever robbed a dozen. This last one was 13. Funny, I had quite the spree when I was young, but cameras have gotten more complicated and good old-fashioned banks are harder to find. I want ones with big blind spots and old locks. You can live off one bank for quite a while, so you can afford to be picky. Small towns tend to have fewer cameras, 30-year-old equipment, and probably no guards. If a bank seems like it has the right combination of those and a few other things, then I'll know it's for me.
Hold on. Remember, you've only robbed one bank, allegedly. Can we focus in on Kedros?
Right. It's upstate by the Finger Lakes. Pretty town. I love the weather they have at the start of spring. It happens so fast the way everything just becomes green. Greener by the hour. Obviously, it's the summer now, but I drove in at the start of May. I stayed at a motel off the highway. Then I met Sarah. Sarah and I, God, you won't believe it. We went to high school together. So Sarah and I start talking. The normal variety of weddings and funerals, an upcoming apple festival that's always popular with the kids. She brought up the bank. Normally not something I'd ask about, but I considered it good fortune. Apparently, the bank was the oldest building there and outlived everything from its day. Established in 1793. Antique. She loved the town's history. Local legend was that it was finished and named before the town was, so they named Kedros after the bank instead of the other way around. Now the Apple Festival...
Mr. Banks, are you stalling?
Excuse me?
You're avoiding talking about the bank, but you've spent 15 minutes talking around it.
Okay. Caught a second time. I would have been caught sooner had you been a cop. Sarah lived somewhere else, but she was memorable, and it makes for a good...
Mr. Banks, I am your lawyer, not your editor. Save the spin for your memoir and tell me the truth. At this rate, you're going to have a lot of time to write it.
I was really low on funds. My car had been broken into, and despite frequently going in to sign up, I don't exactly have a real bank account to lean on. I had no cash, no recourse, no options, so I moved on. When I got to Kedros, I needed money fast, which is not a position I liked being in. I tried my usual routine, but waitresses and lonely clerks were in short supply, and a lot less talkative when you can't tip them. It wasn't working, and I was running out of gas. I saw the bank on my way in, but considered it a bad idea to attempt something like that on short notice. I'm not reckless about these things. At least, I don't think I am. I try not to be superstitious, but across from that bank was a liquor store. Big neon letters over a pouring bottle with 3 X's on it. Take your best shot. The outside of the bank was old, like I said. It was also unusually big for a town this size. Generally, with older buildings, it means a town used to be a lot bigger, but shrunk over time because of misfortune or disaster or something like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean I should expect any extra money to be laying around. I took note of some broken down cars in the back lot and not a single exterior camera. I remember my wallet had 3 singles, 2 5s, and a 20. The building was a lot nicer on the inside. It was more modern than the outside and had clearly been renovated. 3 teller windows, some offices, and a bathroom. No vault. I shouldn't have walked through that door. The atmosphere was all wrong, and I knew better. I have better instincts. Inside was thicker, the air. I turned to get in line behind a few people at the only open window, but I don't remember waiting. A man pulled me aside, tall and bald, and smiled like somebody who wants to sell you something. He asked my name and what I wanted. I told him I wanted to make a new account, which seemed to excite him. I think it was excitement. The eyes got bigger. It told me its name was Coop. I sat down with it in its office. As I signed Willie Sutton over and over, this thing just stared at me. I wasn't looking at it. I was trying not to, but I could feel the weight. This thing knew what I was, and it gave me the fucking creeps. It was looking at me the way I look at a vault. The only reason I didn't bolt, other than the lack of gas, was this sense I had that the doors wouldn't open if I ran. Like teeth snapping shut. Eventually it asked me for my ID, and I politely excused myself. I told him I'd be back later once I'd found my wallet. It smiled at me, not once blinking or breathing. It told me that would be fine. While it waited, I left. I walked out and took the opportunity to scan one last time for a vault, and with divine, or maybe not so divine intervention, there it was. I don't know how I missed it. Right behind the tellers, no cameras. As far as I could tell, this place relied on antique locks, full stop. 2 days later, I was ready. I put on gloves, put on my mask, and around 3 a.m. went to work raking a lock at the back door.
Sorry, raking?
It's just picking a lock. What matters is I was inside and everything was going really well. I could make my way to the front without a flashlight by feeling my way along the wall, which is always better than using a light. Pretty soon I was drilling into the vault. It was an old one, which I expected. Better that way. This part was a little grueling. I needed to drill through the locking mechanism in just the right way, or that door wasn't opening with anything short of a blowtorch. After 20 minutes of trying, I finally heard the right kind of click. I cracked the door open just enough for me to fit in with my bags. Money. Cash money. Bandit bills stacked in the middle of the room. I was in shock. The vault in this place had what must have been between $2 and $3 million sitting right there on the floor. Kedros had less than 300 residents. Why it had so much loose cash on a random weekday, I don't know. But I decided to question specifics after the bags were full. For laughs, I even filled my wallet. It might have taken a while, but it was fun. You really only make one trip for something like this. The less time you're in there, the better. I took the bags out to the car, but instead of putting them in the trunk, I just stared at all that empty space. I was already breaking my own rules, but I was feeling sorry for myself. Oh, I was getting older. I'd had a string of misfortunes and felt like I was owed something. I thought that this perfect bank was God's gift to me for all that suffering. Maybe it was. I went back in for more. I took almost half. I could tell when I picked them up they were different. I took heavier as a good sign and beelined it for my car. I dropped the bags in the back seat and I thought about going in again. I would have, but I heard something like a gas behind me. My heart stopped. I got in my car and drove around the building with the lights off. I parked and turned the engine off. I didn't see anything at first, and I spent a solid minute looking for any movement in those big windows. I did something really stupid. Really, really stupid. I turned on my headlights. I shouldn't have, but I needed to know if someone had seen me. I saw the manager, the tellers, and a handful of others dressed in street clothes. They were all just looking at me through the window, totally still. I was stunned. I started the engine, and just as I did, they all dropped below the edge of the window like the floor had fallen out below them. I was driving so fast away from there that I'm surprised I wasn't pulled over for speeding or out of a ditch.
And your return?
We'll get there. I need you to know why I went back first.
Could I have a word?
Excuse me. This is a private meeting with counsel.
It's the prosecution. They're changing the charges.
Why? Why would they do that now?
I really need you to step out.
I'm sorry. This isn't normal.
None of this is. Do what you have to. I'll be waiting.
This episode was written and edited by D.V. Clarke and directed by Alex Valentino. The lawyer was played by Vero Morales, and Banks was played by Quincy R. Moore. This episode was announced by Alexander Hanley, with musical theme by Onlooker Air, and cover art by OddOblivion. This episode of Black Sheep Shipping is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. Thanks for listening.